Gambia participates on Friday in a press conference held at Medzi Residence Hotel in Kololi revealed pre-election observation findings ahead of the parliamentary election to the media and are sought to provide independent, timely, precise and credible information on the election process and urge registered citizens to cast their votes and be confident that their votes count. Speaking to the media, Marnyang, Executive Director Gambia participates in his pre-election observation findings statement said there are 12 political parties in combination that put up 165 candidates to contest in the election along 81 independent candidates. Gambia participates further observed that evidence have proven that political parties have not shown much financial commitment to sponsor female candidates. He added that few political parties supported female candidates, also female independent candidates observed some forms of financial assistance which could have been done at a greater scale than it appears. He stressed that female participation as candidates in the election is expected to be generally low for 2022 parliamentary elections, representing 7.5% of the total candidates. He added that there is disparity in gender representation at various executive structures with various political parties, which he urged recommendation to encourage equity.
IEC intensified elections preparation and engagement with stakeholders. GPN partners observed sustained and intense election preparatory activities undertaken by the IEC. Based on reports across the reporting periods, the IEC had meetings with stakeholders and distributed election materials across most of the constituencies ahead of the elections. Poor voter education and a likely low voter turnout in elections. Observers found that citizens' exposure to voter education information remained generally low across all the reporting periods. The IEC was the major stakeholder that was consistent in providing voter education. Gambia is concerned that the poor investment in voter education and information will likely impact voter participation, and the parliamentary election will see a low voter turnout compared to the 89% voter turnout registered during the 2021 presidential elections. Abuse of state resources. Our observers reported hearing or witnessing abuse of misuse of government vehicles for political campaigns. From Greater Banjul, observers reported the use of state-owned vehicles by the NPP delegates at the nomination of Saminjai Mohamed Daw and Usman Wada on March 10, 2022. Public officers were also seen attending nomination during official working hours using state-owned vehicles. We equally observed that the constitutionally mandated Meet the People tour, as we reported previously, was politicized by the president to campaign for his party candidates. This has created power inequalities and provided unfair political advantages to the NPP, which also violates Section 91B of the Elections Act and Section 222, subsection 15 of the 1997 Constitution.
Nyang added that Gambia participants recommended to the Independent Electoral Commission to ensure an inclusive process by placing polling stations in locations that are easily accessible by persons with disability, and the Independent Electoral Commission officials and supervisory polling officials to conduct the elections in an impartial and objective manner. Security officials not to use excessive force to disperse protesting crowds as it escalates tensions between political supporters and security officials, and to guarantee security for voters affected by recent violence in the Casamas conflict on election day and make accommodation for internally displaced persons.
Gambia President partners calls on candidates and parties to adhere to the electoral codes and IEC's code of conduct for the legislative elections, including restrictions on the use of government property for political party activities, and not allow their platform to be used to mobilize or instigate violence on election day and the days ahead. To observer groups, the engagement of observers groups should be guided by the do no harm rule. They should uphold the values of neutrality to promote the integrity of the process and ensure peaceful elections. Citizens of the Gambia should stay on the path of consolidating the country's nascent democracy by actively participating in the process.
Meanwhile, Gambia participants will deploy 415 trained and accredited citizens observers to observe the electoral process, which include voting process, counting and announcement of results. He added that 65 mobile observers and 359 stationary observers are deployed across all 53 constituencies in the Gambia. He added that Gambia participants will deploy a systematic approach to data collection and analysis through the use of standardized checklists to gather information on the quality of the process from across all regions and constituencies in the country where the parliamentary elections will take place. Reporting for Kairaba News Network, Mama A. Toure.